We end it here.
Hey, come on. What's about Hard Eyes, which is the latest film in which we see Mason Gooding as well as Olivia Holt start a bit of a romantic relationship that quickly turns sour when a Hard Eyes killer is after them. So this is the latest film from Josh Rubin, and Josh Rubin has some other films under his belt as well, which of course is the film Werewolf Within, which I really enjoyed. That movie was a surprise, honestly. Now this also has a very good cast in Devon Sawa, Jordana Brewster, Gigi Zumbado, Michaela Watkins. So basically what we see here is that there is a killer out there named the Hard Eyes Killer, or Heck, and he has moved to different cities, killing multiple couples on Valentine's Day. He's been doing this for the last couple of years. Now in this present year, and we see that there's two detectives out on this case, Jeanette Shaw as well as her partner Hobbs. Shaw and Hobbs. Yes, Hobbs and Shaw. You heard that right. It makes sense. And they find an engraved wedding ring with the initials J and S at the winery where he has just killed somebody. Now in the movie, we are in Seattle with Allie, who is a pitch designer for a fashion company who has recently had a breakup with her boyfriend that has been very hard on her. And she also has been ridiculed for some of the commercials that she has done for doomed couples for the fashion brand. That seems to be very bad taste, apparently, because of the string of murders that Hard Eyes has done. And her boss, Crystal, has ordered her now to work with this famous designer named Jay Simmons, who is played by Mason Gooding. Allie and him also had an encounter earlier in the movie at a coffee shop where they kind of bonded over the same coffee drink they both get. Now the two of them must work together on Valentine's Day, and we see that Jay gets a reservation at a restaurant, and they eventually have a bit of a connection going on, but then some friction gets in the way. Eventually, however, Allie's ex-boyfriend shows up, and her and Jay share a kiss in order for Allie not to seem like she is down and out, because the boyfriend shows up with the new girl he's been posting all the time that she keeps stalking. And so we see that both of them sort of did this for Allie, it seems, right? But we kind of see that Jay has some feelings for her, and probably Allie does as well. We see that he takes her back to her apartment where she has lost her key, so he helps her get back up there, but in the process cuts himself, so then he has to come into the apartment where he gets some treatment for it. And as Allie opens one of her closets, we see the Hard Eyes Killer right there. Now I want to tell you, the Hard Eyes Killer's mask and everything I thought was a very interesting design, a lot going on there as well, and I really do think that this is going to be an interesting new franchise if it takes flight. Eventually we see the Hard Eyes Killer chasing them throughout the various parts of the city. Allie calls the police because of what's going on, and they take Jay into custody after, because they believe that he is the Hard Eyes Killer, because the ring finger that they found says JS, which is Jay's name and last name, of course. And now they think, yes, Jay Simmons is the Hard Eyes Killer, and they're going to put him under arrest. Allie's trying to get him out, and unbeknownst to everybody, the Hard Eyes Killer shows up at the station, killing everybody in its path as it continues to chase Allie and Jay into a drive-in theater where there's a bunch of couples. So they brought the killer who kills couples to the ultimate couple retreat on Valentine's Day. As the killer begins to wreak havoc throughout, Jay and Allie let their feelings be known that they want something with each other, and they're just scared of love, really, and that's all it is. So they ultimately decide to go ahead and take out the Hard Eyes Killer together, which they do. And when they unmask the killer, they don't know who the hell it was, and neither do we. And that's pretty much the end of it, right? It seems now that Allie has realized, you know what, let me be by myself. You go find yourself, go take your flight that you need to take, and this never happened. And you know, that's how it goes. We see that Allie goes back home, Jay goes to get his flight, and then she's talking to her friend, and her friend's like, what is wrong with you? Why would you let that go? That was a great man right there. You should go back to that airport and find him, which she does, but he's nowhere to be found. Then she gets a call from the Hard Eyes Killer. It says that they have Jay and that they have kidnapped Jay, and they will kill him if Allie doesn't show up to this like St. Valentine's chapel to rescue him. Once she arrives there, Hard Eyes Killer unmasks himself and reveals himself to be David. And David was the tech guy that we met at the station that was trying to ask Allie out as well. So we've already seen this Hard Eyes Killer, and we found out that David hasn't been working alone, of course, because the one that they killed previously, the previous killer, is actually Eli, who was a fanboy of the Hard Eyes Killer. They brought him on board because David's working with his wife, who is none other than Detective Shaw, played by Jordana Brewster. So we find out that the Hard Eyes Killer right now had been 3 people all along throughout the movie. So Shaw was the one that was actually attacking them them in the apartment, and then David was the one that was attacking them outside and actually killed the cab driver, and also the couple at the winery that we saw at the beginning of the film, where he lost his ring because, of course, the ring was given to him by Jordana Brewster. And the only reason they're doing this is because they have a kink to kill, and they want to do it together pretty much, and they were kind of like a throuple with Eli, kind of. That's what they kind of say. They give Allie the choice of killing herself or Jay for love. She, however, shoots Shaw instead, and they get into a scuffle. Ultimately, the couple's able to fight, and we see as Allie decapitates Shaw on a statue of St. Valentine's as well, while Jay shoots David with his own arrow in the face. We then see that everything has ended seemingly, and 1 year later we have now Allie returning to med school and the couple back at the drive-in movie theater where everything took place. As Jay proposes to Allie, they move in together, but she says, let me propose instead, and she proposes that they get married, and he accepts as the film ends. So that's pretty much the ending of Hard Eyes right there. So Hard Eyes was always 3 killers. We kind of had that explained at the end when we saw that David was the killer holding Eli. We saw Shaw come out and reveal herself to be another Hard Eyes killer. They were both a couple. They ultimately got somebody else to join them, which was Eli, because he was like a fanboy. They kind of had a throuple thing going on as well, they kind of say. But the one that had attacked them in the apartment at the beginning was actually Shaw, and then David was the one that chased them around, and then Eli, of course, was the one that was attacking them at the drive-in theater. But at the police station, the attacker was actually David, as we saw in a little bit of a flashback. When he was going to attack Shaw, we didn't see what happened, but then we saw that they were ultimately like having a little moment there, right? And the reason they did this is because they were initially going to go after Allie's ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend, but then they saw Allie and Jay kiss, and they say, wow, that's a couple right there, so we got to attack them. And ultimately that's what happened here. They just were attacking couples because they got off to it. It was a kink to them, and that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about Hard Eyes, the ending, and all of that. Would you love to see a sequel to this franchise? I think they could do something interesting, you know? It's kind of giving me Scream vibes. I really did think the romantic comedy aspect of it here, I think that's where the movie is the strongest. I don't think the horror and the slasher vibes are really as strong as I wanted them, but I would really see Allie and also Jay have a romantic movie after this. I'm down for that. I think they had great chemistry and the comedy was good. So that's all I'll say about Hard Eyes. You can check out my review if you want more thoughts on what I really think about the film and how much I liked it. But meantime, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Let's get to 40,000 subscribers. We just reached 37. Thank you so much. As always, stay safe, stay positive.
He's like Cupid.